My name is Mandy. I am 23 years old. I live in a big city now. I was in college, but I did not like it. The work was too hard, and I felt bored every day. I decided to leave college. This is called dropping out. My parents were very angry about my decision. They wanted me to finish my studies and get a good career. They told me their help was finished. "We will not give you money anymore," they said firmly. This meant I had to pay for my own apartment and my own food. This made me feel very bad and worried. I was scared. I did not have much money. I felt alone in the big city. I needed a job, but I did not want a difficult job. I wanted life to be simple and easy. I stood in front of the mirror one morning. I looked at myself for a long time. I saw that I was a beautiful woman. I thought about my future. I realized something important. Maybe my beauty could help me. Maybe my face and my body could be the key to an easy life. Why should I work hard when I can be pretty? Hard work takes too much time. Hard work means many years of studying and stress. I did not want stress. I wanted nice clothes, nice food, and a big apartment. I wanted things now, not later. I saw other women in the city who had money. They did not seem to work hard. They wore nice clothes and drove expensive cars. I thought, I am as pretty as them. I can have that life too. I made a strong decision that day. I would use my looks to find a rich man. This man would give me the easy life I wanted. I stopped looking for boring jobs. I started looking for opportunities. I was ready to start my new plan. 2. A simple job. I needed money fast. I found a simple job at a big, expensive hotel in the city centre. I stood behind the front desk every day. I had to smile and say hello to the guests. The work itself was not hard, but it was very boring. I did not like wearing the uniform. I did not like standing still for 8 hours every day. I felt tired of this routine. Quickly, I watched the people who came into the hotel. They were all very rich. They wore expensive clothes and carried big, important bags. They arrived in fast, clean cars. I looked at their lives and decided I wanted that life for myself. I wanted to stop working this simple, boring job as soon as possible. Most of the guests were young men who looked important. But one man was different. He came into the hotel often. He was old, maybe 60 years old. He always wore a very clean, dark suit. He looked like he had much money and power. I watched him closely every time he came in. He always had a gold watch on his wrist. It looked very heavy and bright. When he walked outside, I saw his car. It was long and black, and it looked extremely expensive. This man was truly rich, and I knew it. One afternoon, he walked slowly toward the front desk. He did not look at the computer or the papers on the desk. He looked only at me. His eyes were slow, and they seemed to study me. I felt his eyes on me, and I stood up straighter and fixed my hair. I decided this was my big chance. I practiced my smile in my mind. I wanted it to be perfect and inviting. When he reached the desk, I made my smile very big. I looked him right in the face. I wanted him to see my beauty and my interest. He stopped right in front of me. I could smell his expensive cologne, which smelled like wood and money. He did not speak right away. He just looked at me for a long minute. I kept smiling. I thought only about the gold watch and the long black car outside. I thought about an easy life without college or hard work. The old man looked very serious. I waited for him to speak first. I knew he was interested in me. I knew my beauty was working exactly as I planned. I had read about men like him. They liked pretty young girls. They had money and they liked to spend it on women who pleased them. This old man was an opportunity for me. He was a chance to get everything I wanted. I did not care that he was old. I cared only about his money and the life he could give me. I hoped he would ask me to leave the hotel with him soon. I hoped this simple job would end today. 3. The Rich Man. Charlie came closer to the front desk. He spoke to me using a soft, deep voice. He looked straight into my eyes. "You are very pretty," he said. I smiled big. I knew this was my big chance for money and an easy life. I laughed a little and touched my long hair with my hand. I wanted him to think I was special and interesting. I started to flirt with him right away. I told him that I only liked men who were very strong. I told him that I admired men who were smart and successful in business. Charlie watched me carefully. He looked like he enjoyed every single word I said to him. He did not talk much, but he kept looking at my face and smiling slowly. He reached into his nice suit pocket. He pulled out a small white card. The card had his name and phone number printed on it. He put the card on the desk and pushed it toward me. "Come to my house tonight," he said clearly. "I want to talk to you more. I truly want to see you again soon." My heart started to beat very fast. I felt excited, but I also felt strange. I knew Charlie was old, maybe 60 years old or more. His skin looked tired and showed his many years. He was too old for me to truly like him as a partner. I did not feel any love for him at all. He was not the type of person I wanted to spend time with or talk to. But I quickly looked at his shiny gold watch. I thought about the expensive car he drove. I thought only about the large amount of money he had. His money was the only thing that mattered to me now. His money was the key to the life I wanted. I wanted a life where I did not need to work hard. I wanted a life full of beautiful things and no problems. Charlie could easily give me this new life. His age did not matter if he could pay for my future happiness. I picked up the card from the desk. I put it carefully into my pocket. I looked at Charlie and smiled again, a fake, bright smile. "Yes," I said. "I will certainly come to your house tonight." I knew this was a very big step. I was choosing the money over everything else in my life. 4. The Big House. I went to Charlie's house that night. I felt very excited about seeing his home. The car drove for a long time through quiet streets. When we stopped, I looked out the window. The house was enormous. It was much bigger than any house I had ever seen before. The lights were very bright, but the big building seemed cold, like a fancy museum. We walked inside through a tall door. Every room I saw was full of expensive things. There were huge, colourful paintings on the walls. The floors were made of shiny stone. I saw statues and vases that looked very old and valuable. I tried to look calm, but my heart was beating fast. This was the wealth I wanted. This was the easy life. Charlie smiled at me. He took my hand and led me into a large living room. The chairs and sofa were made of soft, thick material. He asked me if I wanted a drink, and I said yes. I sat there looking around at the luxury. I felt sure that coming here was the best decision for my future. Charlie returned with 2 drinks. He sat very close to me on the sofa. He started to talk about his work and his life, but I found it hard to listen. I was busy watching his gold watch and planning how I could stay in this house forever. Then Charlie picked up a small, elegant box from the table. He opened it slowly. Inside the box was a very shiny silver necklace. It looked heavy and extremely expensive. "This is for you, Mandy," he said softly. My eyes widened with happiness. I took the necklace from the box and immediately put it around my neck. It felt cool and important against my skin. "Thank you, Charlie," I said, giving him my best, brightest smile. He gave me a second small box. This one held earrings that matched the necklace perfectly. I felt like a very rich woman. This was so much better than standing behind the desk at the hotel. Later, Charlie kissed me. When he touched me, I felt strange. His hands were big, but his skin felt old and dry. I did not feel any love for him. I closed my eyes and focused only on the gifts he gave me. I told myself that the gifts and the easy life were worth this feeling. I stayed the night with him in his enormous bed. He told me that I made him feel young again. I simply nodded. I did not care about his feelings. I only cared about the easy future that these gifts represented. I did not sleep well. I kept dreaming about having more money and more clothes. I dreamed about never needing to work hard again. I dreamed about living in this big house every day. I knew I needed to make a plan the next morning. I wanted more than just a necklace and earrings. I wanted everything Charlie owned. 5. A big mistake. The sun came up slowly. Mandy was awake in the big bedroom. The room was very large. It felt cold, even with the thick blankets. She looked at the expensive paintings on the wall. She saw the heavy curtains. Everything in the house cost a lot of money. This was the life she wanted. This was the easy life. She did not want to go back to the small hotel job. She did not want to work hard anymore. Mandy made a big decision. She thought, "I must stay here. I will be Charlie's wife. Then this house and this money will be mine forever." This was her goal. She felt sure about her plan. She put on her clothes from the night before. She walked to find Charlie. He was in a room reading a newspaper. He wore a nice suit already. He looked very rich and very powerful. Mandy walked close to him. She stood straight and looked him in the eye. She wanted to sound strong. "Charlie," she said. Her voice was steady. "I want to talk to you about us." Charlie put his paper down slowly. He looked at her face. "I want to be your woman," Mandy continued. "I do not want to leave this house. I want to be your wife. I want to stay with you always." Silence filled the large room. Then Charlie started to laugh. He laughed very loudly. It was a long, deep laugh that hurt Mandy's ears. He laughed like she had told him the funniest joke in the world. Mandy's smile went away. She felt confused. Why was he laughing at her? Charlie stopped laughing and wiped his eyes. He looked at Mandy with cold eyes. His eyes were not kind now. "Mandy," he said, using her name. "You are a pretty girl, a very pretty girl. But you must not dream so big. You must understand your place." He stood up from his chair. "You had a nice night here, that is all." Mandy felt her face turn hot. She felt the blood rush to her head. She suddenly felt very small and very young. She realized the truth. He never saw her as a future wife. He only saw her as a temporary guest. She felt used. She felt stupid for thinking she could trick a rich man like Charlie. She had made a terrible, big mistake. 6. Feeling sad. I left Charlie's big house. I walked fast down the long driveway. The air was cold on my face. It felt like winter, even though the sun was trying to shine. Everything looked grey and sad. My face still felt hot from when Charlie laughed at me. His laugh was loud and cruel. He told me I was just a pretty girl. He said I should not wish for too much. His words hurt more than a punch. I stopped walking and looked at the street. I felt a terrible pain in my chest. It was not a physical pain. It was the pain of feeling stupid and used. I trusted the wrong man. I thought my beauty could buy me an easy life. This was a very big mistake. I touched the gold necklace around my neck. It feels heavy and wrong now. I reached into my pocket and felt the small box with the earrings. Yesterday, these gifts felt special. They felt like the start of a rich life. Now they feel cheap. They feel like payment for a bad night. They are just things. They do not mean love. They do not mean respect. They mean nothing good. I want to throw them away, but I keep them. I started to walk again, faster now. I want to leave this place far behind me. I want to forget Charlie and his cold, expensive house. Big tears started to fall down my face. I cried because I was hurt, but mostly I cried because I hurt myself. I chased money instead of working hard. I tried to trick an old man, and he tricked me better. I felt deep shame for my actions. I walked for a long time until I found a bus stop. I sat down on the cold bench and waited for the bus to take me back to my small apartment. While I waited, I thought about my life in the last few weeks. I left college. I made my parents angry. I started looking for easy money. I used my looks to get gifts. I felt dirty. I realized I did not like the person I was becoming. The girl in the mirror who wanted an easy life was now a girl who felt ashamed and lost. I felt very alone. I had no job, no money from my parents, and no rich boyfriend. I only had a cheap necklace and the memory of a cruel laugh. I decided I needed to change my life. This feeling of deep sadness was too big. I needed to stop this bad path quickly. I needed to fix the mistakes I had made before it was too late. I looked at the bus coming closer. It was time to go home and think about what I must do next. This feeling of sadness was the worst feeling I had ever known. 7. The family. I woke up the next day. I felt very tired and very sad. I did not want to think about Charlie or his cruel laugh anymore. I only wanted to feel safe. I knew where I needed to go immediately. I needed my family. I walked for a long time to the part of the city where my parents lived. It was a normal house, not a big house like Charlie's. It was a home. I stood outside the front door. My hand shook when I lifted it to knock. I waited a moment. I was afraid. I was afraid they would still be angry. I was afraid they would send me away. I knocked once very softly. My mother opened the door. She looked surprised to see me standing there. Her eyes were tired. My father stood behind her in the hall. His face was serious. They did not smile at all. I started to cry right away. The tears came fast and very hot. I could not stop them. I was crying for the money I chased. I was crying for the bad person I tried to be. I was crying because I felt so much pain inside my heart. "Mandy," my mother said. Her voice was soft now, not angry. "I am sorry," I told them. My voice was very small. "I made big mistakes. I left college because I was lazy. I hurt you because I wanted a quick, easy life." My father stepped forward slowly. He watched me carefully. We told you that you must work hard, Mandy. I know, I said, and I did not listen to you, but now I understand everything. The easy life was not real. The easy life made me feel bad and sad and stupid. I looked at both of them. I took a deep breath. Please, I begged them. I want one more chance. I want to go back to college. I want to study again. I want to finish what I started a long time ago. My mother looked at my father for a long time. They talked with their eyes. I waited, holding my breath. It felt like 10 minutes, but it was only a few seconds. My mother stepped closer. She put her arms around me and hugged me very tightly. I smelled her sweet perfume. It felt like the world stopped moving. This hug was better than any gold watch or expensive necklace. We will help you, Mandy, my father finally said. His voice was strong but kind. But this is the last chance you get. You must be serious this time. You must promise us that you will work hard. I nodded quickly. I promise I will study every day. I will not look for quick money again, ever. They let me come inside the house. The house felt warm and safe. I sat down in the old chair in the living room. Everything was the same. The pictures on the wall, the sound of the old clock ticking for the first time since I left college. I felt peace. I felt like I was the real Mandy again. I knew the road ahead would be difficult, but I was ready. I was ready to build a good life with my own hands. My family gave me back my future. I knew I would never forget this important gift. 8. A new life. I went back to college. It felt strange at first. I sat in the classrooms and listened closely. I had missed many weeks of lessons. I knew I needed to work very hard now. My parents helped me pay for the books and the fees. I had to pay them back with good grades and better choices. I started studying every day. I did not look at my phone much. I forgot about going out with friends. My life was simple now. Study, eat, and sleep. This was boring sometimes, but it was safe. I stopped wearing expensive clothes. I wore old jeans and big sweaters. I did not try to look pretty for anyone. I focused only on the textbooks. I stopped looking for fast money. I stopped thinking about rich men. I realized that my old dream was bad. It was a fake dream. I wanted an easy life, but the easy life was ugly. It made me feel sad and empty. I remembered the hotel. I remembered waiting for a rich man to save me. I was ashamed of that girl. Sometimes I remembered Charlie. I remembered his big house and the expensive car. I remembered the gold watch, but most of all, I remembered his laugh. When I asked him to be my husband, he laughed. It was a cold, cruel sound. That sound stayed in my mind. It was a reminder. The gifts he gave me are now in a small box. I never wear them. They remind me that beauty is not everything. I learned a big lesson that night. I learned that my face can open some doors, but my face cannot build a strong life. Only hard work can do that. I sat in the library for many hours. I learned about history and science. It was a job in a small coffee shop near the campus. I smiled at the customers, but I did not flirt. I focused on making good coffee. I saved my money slowly. I talked to my parents often. They were happy to see me focused. They knew I had changed. I was 23 years old, but I was finally growing up. I looked forward, not back. The old Mandy was gone. The girl who chased gold watches was gone. I was becoming the woman I wanted to be, a woman who did not need a man to save her, a woman who was strong because she worked hard. I knew the road ahead was long, but I walked it with confidence. The shame of Charlie's laugh was now the fuel for my success.